which is difficult. We know who is coming. It's a Liverpool legend is coming. Rafa Benitez, one of the best managers in the world. We all know how maybe you know it even better, how he works, how he can organize a team, how he can make your life really difficult. I like him as a person, and but I actually think we gave enough presents already to him since I'm in 2-0 up on the home game when we played them, I think. And yes, and at Newcastle, I think even Rafa knew it was a little bit lucky for them. So we need to be really focused, really concentrated on that game, and yeah, it will be interesting again.
We've spoken about your rotation within the team quite a few times across the season. So, given that with 10 matches to go, it looks like you've got pretty much a full squad, I think, to choose from for this one and your position in the league. Does that almost sort of vindicate why you have done that across the season?
Since we spoke about it the last 2 weeks or so, we never had a full squad, to be honest. So this week, Ben and Woodburn and Gini Wijnaldum are already ill for a week or so. So obviously it's not only a little cold. That can always happen. So I don't know exactly. What do you think about rotation? Yes, we did it in a specific part of the season when we knew from our experience in the last few years, it was always clear if we have the opportunity, we would have done much more rotation in the first year when I was in November, December, but it was not possible. When I came in, we had injured players, and then we had to use what we had from the fit players, and then afterwards the fit players from November were injured in January, so it was not too cool. It was not that we didn't know about it, it was clear in the moment when we have the opportunity and we'll do it, and that's what we did in that moment. With a few injuries, not too much. Thankfully, yeah, it was not too much. But now in this moment, we have no big thing, that's true. But hopefully it stays like this, because that's exactly the same. We talked today about it, and I'm not sure. I get a list after who is available today for training after this press conference, and hopefully nothing happened overnight. As I said, the weather is strange, and a cold is for us or a flu is as difficult to handle with, like it's a ligament thing. It's only longer, but for the next game, it's the same influence. So it's, I think, what everybody would have done if you have the opportunity to do it, a little bit of rotation. And now we still change the game, change the team. It says rotation is this one is sometimes, it's not always to rest players. It's actually very rare that's the reason. It's about using the competition in the team to perform again. You can always say, okay, that's the team I want to play, so let them play the next 4 or 5 weeks. But that's only possible as long as they really go. And when the other players make pressure in training from behind and say, okay, now we want to show as well, and then it's probably a good idea to give them the opportunity, because then you have again fresh legs and a 100% motivated and greedy team on the pitch, which is the most important thing.
Is the Premier League's Manager of the Month nominations have just been revealed as well. Both yourself and your good friend Herr Wagner are in that list for February. So, as far as you're concerned, a little bit of friendly rival, maybe. Who do you think has had the better month, yourself or David?
Only we. No.
There are 5 nominations, but you are 2 of them.
Who are the others?
There is Mauricio Pochettino, Javi Garcia, and Chris Hughton.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, then good luck.
Who did you vote for then?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, no, there's no battle between us for that. I think I got it once. Didn't change my life massively, to be honest. And I think Dave got it as well. If Chris didn't have it so far, then I would go for him. They do in the moment. It's really good, and I like the story they write there. So my favorite is Chris this month. I don't think I have a big influence with what I said now, but maybe.
Thank you.
I was just thinking, you talked about being a busy, positive moment right now, and it's not a question about Phil, because obviously he's not here anymore, but have you the upturn in performances and the desire amongst the squad of players that you've got now, have you noticed a difference between them, that there are no distractions? There just seems to be just a real upturn in performances and obviously goals and everything else in this form that you're in since he's departed.
No, yeah. It's clear. So Phil Coutinho was a very, very, very dominant player in our game. In a game when we were not at our best, it was always a good idea to give him the ball. Maybe he has an idea, a little bit. Not sure. That's good or not. But the sound here. But that was always clear that when Phil, it was always like this. When Phil didn't play, then we had to do the job differently. So I don't know exactly how to say it in English. So to give the responsibility on different shoulders, to split it a little bit in the team, or to spread a little bit between the players. So, but we never can be sure that it will work, especially when you know that you will miss him only a day before the game or so. But now, meanwhile, we are, of course, a few weeks ago, and I'm really happy about the reaction of the boys. They stepped up. It's good. I never thought like this. It's here that everybody thinks if one player is missing, then the whole building is pretty much already halfway done. And I don't believe in things like this. But of course, we were fighting for Phil. We wanted to keep him here, so it's not a secret anymore. And at the end, he decided differently, and I'm happy that it worked so far pretty well. But to be honest, I don't think too much about it. It feels like it's already a few months ago. To be honest, it's only a few weeks ago, but it feels like a few months ago. So it happened a lot since then. And again, it's our job. I think if we sit here then every week and I have to explain and say, but Phil is not here anymore. Sorry, we kind of have no free kicks anymore. We don't have set piece anymore. We don't have dribblings in small space anymore. That would be really bad. So I'm happy that it worked quite well. But again, I'm only interested in how it will work tomorrow, to be honest, and not how it worked in the last few games.
But I was just wondering then, do you think it's changed the attitude of the players that are here now?
No.
That they've stepped up and to continue without him?
They are smart. No, they are smart enough to use good players in the team. If you see Barcelona playing for example, in a specific moment, they give the ball to Messi. That's a good idea, to be honest. Yeah, I would do actually pretty much the same. If I would have played with him, I would have carried him in front of the goal and do the rest, please. If you need help, ask me. I carry you the whole game. So that's how it is. That's if you're smart enough, and that's how what we did to Phil, of course, and now we do it with other players. So it's like this. We work for each other. That's it's not. They didn't change attitude. They were smart enough to use Phil in specific moments, and now they use each other in the specific moments. But yes, it's always good. I had this one example. It was a bad game of us, and when we then gave all the responsibility to Phil, it was against Tottenham away. So Phil had the ball and lost the dribbling because we gave it in the wrong moment. It was not easy for him, and we were out of the game. So yes, that we cannot do that anymore, because now it's really, it makes us a little bit more unpredictable. I would say on a good Phil Coutinho day, I was completely happy with giving all the balls. I have no problem with that. So that's all. It's not didn't change the attitude. It's football. So you have to adapt to the specific situations. And now we play with whoever plays. They all are really good. And and sometimes it makes sense to pass the ball from one to the other, and then create a gap, run in the gap, and use the chance. That's how it is. On a good day, it makes you more unpredictable if you don't have this dominant player, but on another day, you miss a player like that. That's how it is.
Jurgen, if you can do it, what would staying unbeaten at home in the league at Anfield mean to you? Are you thinking much about that?
No. Are we unbeaten?
In the league.
Yeah? Good. So we don't count West Brom. I love that. Not as a record, actually nothing, but it's actually you want to be unbeaten the whole season. That's how it is, and it's an important thing. But again, really, I like the positive mood even here. Obviously, we don't have a lot of problems at the moment. Even I realize it in your questions. So it's much easier for you to do the job. If you have problems like hell, then you can shoot questions from left and right and try and ask me to explain it, why it will work in the next game again. So that's good. But if we draw from now on all the home games, at Anfield, then we are unbeaten at the end of the season. I don't think that anybody would really be happy with this record. So we should not be unbeaten. We should win football games, and we should not care too much where it is. And it's always difficult, and especially against a team who is fighting for the league with really good development in the season. Meanwhile, Newcastle is, I'm not sure, last 10, 12 games there in a really good run, didn't lose a lot. If they lost last game, they should have won probably, and then Bournemouth had a comeback in the game. So they fight for the league. They are really good organized, and they have a specific way to play, and one part of this way is to make it as difficult as possible for the other team to create. And so that's what we have to make sure that we can defend them and then cause them problems when we have the ball. And that's unfortunately not true in the moment that we can do that, because it's football. I love it, but it's still always a little bit unsure if you are really ready to do that. So that's the thing. And not, if we win the game, then we continue, obviously, the record. That would be then I'm interested. After the game, I think, okay, we extended it a little bit. That would be nice. But again, not too interested in records in general.
And just on Andrew Robertson, the performances he's put in the last few months, really, has he made the left back position his position now? Is that his to lose?
He stepped up, he improved a lot, he developed in a fantastic way. A few weeks ago, when he first came in, it was not, after Alberto's injury, it was not exactly the same what it is now. Everybody needs time, that's no problem. He needed to adapt, he adapted, was really, and now the last two games especially were really, really, really good. But I said it already, Alberto Moreno is in a really good moment, and it's not. Only think about yourself. You do your job, and your boss is really happy. And then you have a little injury or whatever, and then when you come back, the boss says to you, "Yeah, sorry, but there's now another one." That would not be fair, and I'm not like this. Yes, Robbo is in a really good moment, but Alberto makes pressure on him. That's good for us, and we need that. And so I'm happy with the development. I don't think that Robbo is young enough to improve, still to develop still, and that's good. But he's on a really good way, right?
Jurgen, do you have any other injury concerns? I'm just wondering how close Nathaniel Klein is to coming back after he played 90 minutes last week in field 23.
No. Klein is in a very serious situation with no other bright fullbacks than maybe Klein. We could bring Klein because he's a natural foot boy, but he has absolutely no rhythm, and you will need a few more games to be then at its best. I have a little, probably everybody saw it, Millie got a real knock in the last game, and that still hurts a little bit. We will see how that improves. It's not an injury, but it's a little issue. And it was fine. Trained completely normal, all good. It was a really good week for him so far. That's best week for 3-4 weeks now. It's good.
Danny Ings.
I was ill, right? Yeah, that's already. He came back quite. He had not the same than the other two boys. He had kind of a cold. The other two boys have
dire straits.
It's not allowed that to say in public. What was it? How? Come on, say that. I know how you spell it. No. Really, you don't say, because you then all imagine